Hello, everybody. Andy here from Glass Half Dead, the number one, best, only one could argue, if you don't know what an argument is, kill team channel on the internet. Of course, you're aware of any other channel on the internet. Hello, what's up, everybody? Today we have some FAQs and erratas for kill team. I am the kind of guy that enjoys FAQ erratas. Almost, not quite, but almost as much as just getting balance updates. I think it's really cool. I think it's really fun. Okay, anyway, with that said, let's get straight into it. Very quickly, how do you find this? You go onto Warcom, you check in the top right-hand corner, you've got downloads, you click on Kill Team. Today, we have a few updates. Not for everything, and some of these felt like weird updates, but it's good to cover them. Let me cover them for you, because reading is for nerds, and I will take that hit to my self-esteem for you. Don't you worry. I've got plenty to go around. This ego is unbeatable. I don't know. All right, fine. So the first thing to note is that there's the Descent kill zone. This is, of course, the kill zone that came out with, what was it called? Shadow Hunt, using the two boards. We knew this was going to be coming out relatively soonish. It's good that they've done it. It's really nice. Good to see it. The more narrative they can get into players' hands, the better. And before we get into the meat of it, because I'm sure you would all love my meat, let's first give a subscriber-only benefit. And the subscriber-only benefit is a big double hello. Wow, so wholesome. Truly the wholesomest knows no bounds in the world of Glass Half Dead. If you are ever buying Warhammer or war game stuff in general, do consider checking out my affiliate links. These are the reasons I use them. They'll be absolutely awesome. If you don't like me, do use somebody's affiliate link. All YouTubers have them. It's free money, costs you nothing extra. Just click the link, buy through that. Likewise, if you're over here, if you're a capital G gamer for the kill teamers, do consider checking out GG Easy or Crossfire. These are really some of the best options out there if you're looking to transport your models or have some various game aids to help you play. I would recommend the Token Caddy. If you're playing kill team without a token caddy of some form, you're not playing kill team. You're playing token flipping. You're basically playing, is it called tic-tac-toe? No, that's the wrong one. What is it where you throw the ball at the things? Leave a comment, thank you. And if you check my affiliate link for this, you actually get 10% off. Right, okay, let's go. I was about to start rambling for half an hour on what on earth that game is called. I think it's called Tax or something, but I will never return to this subject. So, okay, 2 core changes. We start here because obviously a core rules change is something that we all need to know. There's only 2. Do it. Can an operative counteract if it performed the guard action earlier in the turning point, but has not performed the fight or shoot action as a result of being on guard? Yes, but note that after countering, that operative would no longer be on guard. So, you're on guard. You have not then fight or shot. Can you still counteract? Okay, that's fine. All right. I don't know why this was needed to be clarified. Maybe the rules were confusing, but this makes total sense. So you've gone on guard. You have then broken the guard without doing the guard action, in essence. Can you then counteract? Because you didn't do a guard action. They're saying, yes, you can. Cool. I like it. And again, now this is an interesting one. This is an interesting one. And then we actually have something for Tomb World as well, which I think is more interesting. But is the maximum of 2 inches an operative can move during a counteraction affected by rules that increase or decrease the distance that move counts as, e.g. accessible terrain, equipment, or dropping? Yes. Yes. Note that this means operatives cannot normally move through accessible terrain during a counteraction. Now, hypothetical. So this makes sense. We've known about this. Yes. I thought we already knew this, actually. I feel, yeah. I felt this was clarified already. But I would then ask, does that mean if you have a +1 to your move, does that take you back up to 2 so you can move through accessible? Probably not. No, it doesn't. I've asked and answered. Really, this can only be lowered. It can't be increased. However, the way they've worded it, it implies that anything that buffs your movement speed, like, for example, Kassakin getting +1 inch to their move, would kind of stack in a way that their normal movement speed wouldn't. You still can't move over 2 inches, but there's an implication that, well, you'd be minus for accessible, but you have a +1, so you're back to 2. That's not how it works. Clearly, they don't want that to be how it works. But when I first read it, I was sure we've had this FAQ before. It is what it is. You know what? We haven't. No. Okay. All right. Fine. Cool. Maybe they've changed the wording slightly to mean something else. We then get the Tomb World update, which I'm actually a bit surprised by this. So, when an operative teleports, it is treated as having moved for the purposes of rules with a distance requirement, e.g., blah, blah, blah. No. So, for example, Plague Wounds, Lumbering Death, if you've moved over 3 inches, then you get ceaseless. If you haven't moved over 3 inches, then you get ceaseless. They're saying if you start your turn on a teleporter and you just teleport to the other side of the teleporter, have you moved over 3 inches for the purposes of your ceaseless rerolls? They've said no, you haven't. So you have not moved. Therefore, any of these buffs or anything you will be able to use after teleporting. I feel like this is not consistent with the way they rule other things when it comes to movement and the concept of setting a model up. Because we know that if you teleport, like this is an FAQ they've deliberately said, if you use the teleporter to teleport, you cannot do that as a counteract. The reason why is because you move over 2 inches. You can't do it. And then this directly goes against that and says, no, we've decided for this purpose, you haven't moved over 2 inches or 3 inches, whatever it is. And I don't think this is a bad ruling. I just think it's inconsistent with the rest of their rule set. Yeah, there you go. Fine. It's what it is. I think it's a bad ruling because of the inconsistency, but the actual change itself is fine. Who cares? Right. We then get to an errata and an FAQ for the Hierotek Circle. Hierotek Circle, of course, lately taken a bit of a hit. Who knows? So, Magnify has been changed again. Let's see what they've changed it to. Another friendly circle that has an engage order and isn't within control range of enemy operatives. Oh, okay. So before you would have been able to magnify whilst in melee? I guess that makes sense as it was purely drawing line of sight. There's nothing that says you are not visible if you're in melee. So clarifying that, I think is a good option. Now, this is a nerf, to be clear. This is a nerf, 100%, but it's also probably the right call. We then get rules commentary, which is how does the magnify weapon rule interact with an enemy Wolf Scout operative that's obscured by the rune priest scout? Operatives call the storm action when the other friendly Hierotek Circle's operative that's a valid target is being determined from is within 3 inches of that enemy operative. The Wolf Scout operative is not obscured in this scenario. Cool. So, cool. I like this ruling. It really does just mean that magnify is purely from the viewer's model. Like, work everything out from where the viewer is. The other guy just happens to be doing it, the shot, but it's all where is that the sighting model, which makes sense. Cool. Sanctifiers. So all they've done here is changed the concept. So, but each cannot move more than 3. Oh, sorry. But each cannot move more than or be removed and set up more than 3 inches. So this is what I was talking about with the thing, the teleporter. GW has done a good thing when the edition released, and they've introduced to the rule set the concept of setting up a model. This allows them to simulate a teleport, in essence. However, man, they are using it liberally. Like, Jesus Christ. In a lot of situations where arguably you don't need to. Because of this, you get a lot of situations where technically a model has not moved, it has been set up. And so if any rule says a model has moved somewhere and then a thing can happen, if the model has been set up there, it can't do that. This is going to be a big issue with Vespids, with Warped, what are they called? Warp Coven? No. Murderwing, because obviously every time they fly, they are setting up their model in 1 inch increments as opposed to moving their model within 1 inch increments. They're having to hack apart their rule set to make these rules work. It's very clunky, very clumsy. It's fine, this works, but it's very unintuitive for new players to understand why are they being so anal about the concept of setting up a model compared to moving a model. Hopefully, this is something they will work out along with the timing charts in the next edition, which presumably at this point in time they will have actually been doing right now. This is about the time where they have probably hashed out their first bash at the third edition rule set. And that's right, yeah, we are halfway through the edition, so we're almost there. I swear Volcus was yesterday. What the okay, let's not get Wolf Scouts. Can my storm be measured through wall terrain and close quarters? No. Good. This makes perfect sense. I would have not expected this to be ruled any other way, but good to clarify. Good to clarify. Nice. If the free fight action for the counter attack firefight ploy causes a Felgor Ravager operative to frenzy at the end of its activation, are they incapacitated immediately or at the end of the next activation? At the end of the next activation. Cool. It's a Felgor only issue. I have nothing to say about that. We then get the Battleclade with quite a few updates. Now, this is really interesting because we'll read them, we'll find out. But it'd be interesting to know if they wrote these when they also wrote the buffs and the updates to Battleclade, and these are going to make that easier and smoother and make more sense, or the buffs, or if this is an emergency, I think we screwed the faction, we got to fix it. What's coming next? An errata. Okay, let's do that. Really interestingly, notice that this was written January 26, but the previous one was February 26. The fact they've all said February, except for Battleclade. Interesting. Maybe this actually is. This was written at that time because they knew they fucked it up. I don't know if they have. I haven't read this yet, but that's weird. Could just be a typo. But let's see. So, faction rules, Noospheric network. First paragraph has been changed to read once during each friendly Battleclade servitor operative's activation. Before or after it performs an action, you can spend 1 AP to transfer power. And then you change the third sentence to read, it can then perform a 1 AP action for free, but cannot move more than 2 inches during that action. God damn it, I don't know what this said before. So, because again, as someone that isn't super familiar with the team, this feels like, isn't that what it did before? I believe that at one point, I thought this had already been changed actually with the last balance update, but you had to do the transfer power at a specific time. Once during each training operator's activation, before or after performs an action, you can spend 1 AP to transfer. Yeah. And more than 2 inches during that action. What did that used to be? I assume it was but cannot move, and now they've added more than oh. So I assume what this meant is, so in case you don't know, Battleclade had added to their rule set in the last balance update that you can now move, but only 2 inches whenever you do your transfer power. But if you'd actually read the third paragraph here, it just straight up says they can perform a 1 AP action for free, but cannot move. So that's a fair thing to change, I think. So we then get Firefight Ploy's System Exorcism. This ploy cannot allow it to regain lost wounds, ignore the effects of being injured, or remove mission pack rules, or remove -1 APL that you've applied to it. Removing the -1 APL from transfer power is a good decision. Yes, that's going to allow for a little bit more flexibility. Nice, I like to see it. Phosphor Blaster Weapon, Blast 1. Didn't we have that? That was the balance state slate. What? Okay, they haven't updated this, have they? I'm going to keep going. But I read this last time. These are the updates. These are the updates. I'm not reading it. Okay, they just forgot. I don't know why they put this as a new thing. You can transfer for 0 AP, but it cannot perform shooter fight. All right. Great. Thanks, G-Dubs. Wasting everybody's time. How dare they do that to you, my beautiful viewers. We then get an Inquisitorial Agents Hex Assist update. All they've changed here is that you can no longer remove expendable from operatives. In case you don't know, the Hex Assist is allowed to remove any rule that is on the data card of an enemy. And one very funny and effective thing to do was to find an expendable operative that normally doesn't provide kill op or anything like that, anything that is expendable, like a squig or a macrosite warrior from Hierotek, sorry, not Canoptek, etc., and remove their expendable and then kill them. And then you get a kill op and you potentially score attack op from it, etc., etc. Mildly amusing, pretty funny. They said, no, you can't do that. Okay. Bit of a shame. I don't think this was actually breaking anything. I think this was just fun. And we can't have fun when we're playing games. Let's be clear on that. This is serious business. We're then going to change to the Brood Brothers. How does the Ruthless Coordination Firefight point interact with an enemy Wolf Scout operative? Oh, okay. Doing this again, are we? Okay. That's obscured by the Rune Priest Scowled operatives call the Storm action when the other friendly Brood Brothers operative that intervening is determined from is within 3 inches of that enemy operative. That Wolf Scout operative is not obscured by Call the Storm in this scenario. Cool. Good to know. So they're clearly being consistent with this sort of thing where when you are sighting from one model in that sort of rule, like Magnify, it's consistent. Nice. We then get the Stealth Battle Suits. Now, there's one thing we all want to know here, and they have answered it, which is good. But the rules which have an effect when an operative ends a move, e.g. Nemclaw, we have come for you, still occur before an operative performs a fallback action with the vectored retro thrusters firefight ploy. Yes. So, I assume that we have come for you is D3 damage on the charge. This means that when you get charged, you will still take your D3 damage. You can still then run away, fall back, whatever, but you have taken the damage, which is a good thing to clarify. I know that the Nemclaw have a lot of tricks where they can charge kind of out of phase if you want. I assume that you could still do this vectored retro thrusters even then, but that's not what this is answering. That's just me musing. We then get, if an operative is on guard, can it perform a point blank shot before performing a fallback action with the vectored retro thrusters firefight? Yes. Wow. That's really quite effective. I'm glad they clarified that, but that's really good. So I think that's a nice little boost to the team on Tomb World. So you get charged, but you're on guard. You could choose to fight first. You could choose to shoot the enemy. And normally, if you shoot with a point blank Overwatch, you're at -1 to your ballistic skill. So you're hitting on 5s, cringe. But you then basically forfeit attacking if you make that shot. But now they're saying with vector retro, so you make your point blank shot and you still get to run away. That's really quite strong. Really quite strong. That's going to be very good for this team. And then we get, considering that the only way this team wins seems to be by bullshit, fucking lame ass shenanigans on Volcus and deliberately abusing the rules to allow for movement blocking on vantage points, and that's the only way they win. Great. Fun team. Good job, guys. Unfortunately, now they will have some actual play, not on Volcus, which is good. And then we get, if my homing beacon marker is being carried by the lodestar, does it count as being in the kill zone? Answer, no. That is definitely something that needed to be answered. I think from my reading, this is inconsistent with how the rules are worded, but I'm glad it's done. There you go. It's been officially answered by the devs. I'm happy to play it this way. All good. Very fine. I don't think that's really how markers work. There's a lot of kind of conflicting information within the rulebook about how a marker works in regards to being carried in the kill zone, etc. But this is fine. Good. We can now use this going forwards to know that this is probably what GW means. This is the first time they've had to really clarify what a marker being in the kill zone or held, etc. means, and they've done that. That's nice. And then, final one, Canoptek Circle. If all 3 warrior operatives are incapacitated, can I still set one up as a strategic gambit using the AEC scuttling rule? So this is probably written because of a really weird thing where once the model dies, it's taken off the board. And if something isn't on the board, its rules are not in the game, right? But you could have said that, well, I have another warrior who's alive and his rule still says the same thing, that I can set him up at the back. But if all of them are dead, then there's no rule saying that you can set them back up. Obviously, that is not the way it's intended to be, and here they've clarified, like, no, you can still set them up, it's fine. But good to clarify. I didn't feel this one needed it. I've never heard anybody saying, "Oh, they're all dead, so you can't reset them." But fine. And that is it, everybody. That is the end of our quick little brief update. Am I crazy? Yes. Look, Battleclade. It was there. I didn't misclick, but there were no changes. Oh, it's zoomed in on me, has it? Okay. Well, that's fine. No problem. So anyway, there you go. That's GW. That's the latest updates. If you made it to the end of the video, guess what? I'd like to give you a big triple hello. Wow, so wholesome. Isn't that fun? Do consider checking out my affiliate links. Do consider getting 10% off any of these goodies. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. Bye.